What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Turford, and welcome back to another Mega Wednesday right here on youtube.com/Ryan Turford. Of course, this week we are up to Mega Man 5. We played Mega Man 4 last week. Basically, Mega Man 5 itself is a late NES game. Basically, this game came out after the Super Nintendo came out here in North America. So, of course, it has a lot of benefits from being a late NES game. First of all, this really awesome intro. It's just really cool. I just love how Proto Man just kidnaps Dr. Light and basically just goes straight up. It's just really cool. So, the music itself here is really cool as well. Now, in case you guys haven't seen my Let's Plays before, I play them very casually. So, for the most part, I'm going to die from time to time. So, don't worry about it. Again, I'm not trying to speedrun or anything like that. I'm just someone who really loves Mega Man. And I want to tell you guys all about it. So, I hope you guys at least like my Let's Plays. If you like them, like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. So here, we're going to start with Starman. Now, you could actually start with Gravity Man, or Gyro Man, or Charge Man, or Stone Man. There's a lot of different areas you could really start with if you wanted to. Here, we just choose to go with Starman, since I think he's actually probably the most manageable of all the Robot Masters anyways, to start with. That said, Stone Man and Charge Man are a little bit easy too, so. Especially since when we get to Charge Man, we probably won't actually fight him with his weakness, since the Power Stone is one of my least favorite power-ups in all the Mega Man games. Also, the one thing you'll notice about this stage right away is that I'm jumping super high. That is because we are in space. In space, there is no gravity. When there's no gravity, you jump really high. So, explain those M's in just a second. I just don't want to get killed by this guy. Those Mets, by the way, in the spacesuits are a pain in the ass. So if you look down there where it says Mega Man 5, basically there's a different letter spelling out Mega Man 5 on all of the Robot Master stages. If we collect all of them, we will unlock Beat, which will be very useful when we get to the Proto Man's castle. Beat is Mega Man's bird, which is pictured on the right there, underneath the 5. So here, what we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to take these out from a distance. No real reason to fuck with them. And we got to sort of watch our jumps here, because we will go straight into those spikes if we jump too high. So, watch out. And we want to sort of keep our distance from this guy. And if we just stay in that position, he can't really hit us. So. There we go. Take those guys out. I apologize I'm getting hit so much. Again, for the most part, this is actually probably, besides Mega Man 2, probably the Mega Man game I'm probably the second least confident in. Again, Mega Man 2, for the reason of, I just didn't really play it as a kid at all, so I didn't really grow up with it the same way I did with all the other Mega Man games. And then Mega Man 5, same deal. I was basically playing Super Nintendo games when this game came out, so for the most part, I'm not super familiar with it. So, again, we died, so we're just going to start back here. No big deal. Again, this is the first time I've really died to damage, but this game, more than any other Mega Man game, I think, is probably the most plentiful with lives I've ever seen in any Mega Man game, which will be helpful if we die a lot. Though, I promise you guys, we probably won't die too much, unless, of course, Crystal Man stage totally rapes us, which it has a habit of doing. If you've ever played Crystal Man stage before, the RNG with the crystals that I'll explain when we get there is a bit of a pain. So, again, Mega Man games are all about patience. You can speedrun them, and there are a lot of people that like speedrunning them, but it's very difficult to do so, unless you know all the set patterns anyways. For the most part, you gotta really just be patient. It's more of a game of finesse and elegance rather than a game that you're really just trying to run and gun through. So again, those missiles aren't really a big pain in the ass here. They will be in later stages, because the buoyancy with jumping in space really makes them a lot more manageable than they would be otherwise. So here we go. We are at Starman. So Starman's movements are pretty random. For the most part, he'll either jump back and forth like this, or he'll jump straight up. But for the most part, we can't really hit him because he's got his shield up, and until he lets us hit him anyways, we can't really do anything. Now this actually happened when I was practicing for this too, something that I hadn't actually seen with Starman before, where if you basically just slide back and forth, he'll actually not use the Star Crash, whereas now he's using it like a madman. But again, we can't really hit him unless he uses his shield, so we have to sort of wait for him to do that. But see, look at how much easier he is now. So this is why we start with Starman, because he's probably the easiest one to beat with the Mega Buster. So there we go, so Starman down, and now we're going to move on to Gravity Man. Out of all of the Robot Masters in this game, he's probably the most iconic one. I think he's got probably one of the coolest designs, except maybe Crystal Man or Napalm Man are probably the other two I'd really point to. But his stage is really awesome, and the music's pretty good on it too, so I'm pretty excited to do that. So we unlocked the Super Arrow as well. Super Arrow basically acts like Item 2 from Mega Man 2. You can create platforms with it, but it also fires straight across, and you can jump on it. So we'll use that later. Probably as a weapon more than a platform, but... because there are actually... when we get to the castle, it'll actually be the weakness of some of the enemies. So that's the main reason why we would actually use it as a weapon offensively rather than as a movement tool. So again, here, there's just so much stuff going on. Again, as I mentioned, this game really benefits from being released later in the NES's life cycle. So for the most part, it's just so cool to see just how far the Mega Man games have really come. And you can see that through the course of my Let's Plays as well. I mean, Mega Man 1, when we played that, there's just so little going on in the background, and even with the enemies, like, there could only be so many enemies on the screen at once. So for the most part, you weren't having, like, very detailed stages, plus a glut of different types of enemies as well. Like, it's just so cool to see how far they've come anyways. Alright, so these big purple guys can be a big pain in the ass. Of course, what we can do, since he can't really jump through that barrier there, we can easily pin him down. And they're a lot easier to kill later on when we have the napalm bombs. But they are a bit of a pain in the ass in the earlier stages, since they do a ton of damage and they will basically sit on top of you. So, alright, so here we'll jump and get the M. If you missed it there, you can actually just use Rush Coil and get it. It's one of the easier letters to get. And really the only tricky one to get, maybe, is the one that's in Stone Man stage, but that's only because it's difficult. If you don't know where it is, it's kind of weird to try and find it, but... we'll just go through that guy, it doesn't matter. Alright, so for here we are at Gravity Man. Of course, Gravity Man is weak to the Star Crash, which, very similarly to what we saw with Starman itself, it's just a shield, very similar to Woodman or Plant Man, Skull Man, the proud tradition of Mega Man powers using shields. So here, what we want to sort of do is just run into him with it. Again, we don't want to stand right on top of him, but for the most part, we just want to stand close enough to him that the shield will hit him. Of course, you could beat him with the Mega Buster as well, and people do start with Gravity Man. However, you'd actually play the fight quite differently. You'd want to keep your distance more, and then sort of charge your shot and wait for gravity to go up, and then you just you fire at him as you're moving. Anyways, so again, we've got the Gravity Hold. The Gravity Hold is a really, really dumb weapon. Really, really dumb. It's a full screen attack, very similar to Centaur Flash or Flashman's ability, except it doesn't stop time, which is dumb. So really all it does is it just attacks on a big radius, and not a lot of enemies even get hit by it. So for the most part, we'll only really use it when we fight Gyro Man, and probably never use it again. Now mind you, we didn't really use the Flashman's ability, except when we needed to stop stages in Mega Man 2. But at least it had some utility to it, whereas Gravity Man's ability, like I said, pretty lame. We're never really going to use it, so we'll just wait for those to pass. So here we got some chickens. We're going to see these guys later on in Charge Man stage. Free life. May as well grab this one too, just in case. Yeah, just keep going. So what we're going to want to do with these bombs is sort of just wait for them to come to us. No real reason to rush into them. Of course, if we rush in here and they fly and hit into us, we'll get knocked off those platforms and have to start over. And you guys don't want to see that, so... Yeah, Gyro Man stage is another stage I actually really like. The physical design of and how it looks. It just looks so cool, like with the windmills and everything else. There's just so much more going on. Reminds me a lot of Airman stage, if Airman stage could look like basically had the benefits of coming out later anyways. So here, these places, if you basically don't time everything right, can be a bit of a pain, but for the most part, pretty easy here. Now, you can get the A without dying there if you time your jump right, but the checkpoint is literally right here, and we've got 5 lives, so we've got the lives to spare. A lot of times it's just easier just to jump back in and let yourself die there. It's not a big deal. Oh, shit. I wasn't expecting that. I guess one of the tip of Mega Man's foot must have touched the next platform, which caused it to go down. Very similarly to Bright Man's stage, you sort of have to watch where you're jumping here, because again, even if you touch the platforms even by a little bit, they will start to fall, and it's a big pain. So here you just got to sort of time your jumps with these spikes. Again, if you don't want to jump too early, because if you do, you will hit the spikes, and if you jump too late, like that, you will get crushed under the spikes. So, once again, we will do this again. I apologize again for dying a couple times. We have more than enough lives, but this is not something I like to keep doing, so... I mean, you guys didn't come here to watch me die, right? So... Also, one thing I noticed with the Legacy Collection, we're playing Legacy Collection on Xbox One. The Xbox One controller, for the most part, I'm just using the standard controller, and sliding is a bit of a pain on this controller. Sometimes I will slide and it will jump, and if I tried to slide there instead of jump, I will go straight into the spikes. So, this is something that you may have seen me, a problem you've seen me run into with the other two Let's Plays I did. Well, Mega Man 3 and Mega Man 4. It's a problem with both of those games, really, and it will be with Mega Man 6, because again, these games are really designed to use the NES controller and to utilize the slide. So, alright, so we are at Gyro Man stage, and we will equip the gravity hold. Now, it's very important as to how you use the gravity hold on Gyro Man, because you can't spam it. If you do, you will run out, because you only have enough to hit him once with it. So, like, to hit him with every single burst. Otherwise, you really will have to use the Mega Buster. So, there we go, Gyro Man down. Like I mentioned, Gravity Man's ability, the gravity hold, is very, very dumb. It looks dumb when you use it. For the most part, it just fills up the screen. Doesn't really do much else. So... So we got the Gyro Attack and Rush Jet, so now we have all of the support abilities as well, and we're only 3 stages in, so... So next up, we're going to go to Crystal Man. If I die on any of the stages, it'll be this one. Why? Not because the stage itself is actually difficult. It's actually, when we get to the crystals here in just a second, the crystals have are very much random based as far as when they will spawn crystals to kill you, and it is a bit of a pain. So first of all, I gotta say hats off to whoever designed the look of the stage, because it looks so goddamn cool. It basically reminds me a lot of Gemini Man's stage. It makes me wonder what Gemini Man's stage could look like if Mega Man 3 came out later. Again, this sort of gives us our first glimpse into that. So here, as I mentioned, the crystals that fall from the ceiling really don't have any rhyme or reason to when they spawn, like that, for example. You just sort of have to go when you feel safe. Of course, I felt safe there, but no. So we'll just start from the beginning. Again, basically there will be 2 sections like that here, and if you die on either one of them, you have to start the stage from the beginning. So it can be a bit of a pain. And like I said, if I use all my lives anywhere, it will be here. It won't be in Proto Man's Castle. It won't be on any of the Robot Master stages. It'll be here. Like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason as to when these spawn, so for the most part, you're sort of left to your own devices like there. I thought we were okay, but no. So, alright, let's do this one more time. Now, I'm going to try something here. I've never actually tried Rush yet in this area, so I'm kind of curious as to what would happen. Nope. Don't use Rush yet here. Alright. I thought that might help us out, but no. I mean, the other weapon you could conceivably use is the Super Arrow as a platform to get across. But for the most part, you are sort of left to try and navigate it yourself, which is, like I said, is a bit of a pain. There we go. Alright, so we're through part 1. It gets worse. So there's our boy Eddie. Of course, sporting us a life. We got 2 left. So I still think we can do it. Because, like I said, Crystal Man himself, we're not going to have a huge problem with when we get there. But these crystals are a bit of a pain. So, whew. The Crystal Joes themselves, again, we want to sort of take out it from a distance. Because they can be a bit of a pain if we're trying to avoid these spikes here. So here's the last one. There we go. Oh, thank God. I thought that wouldn't end. So again, for the most part, that's really the only time we're actually gonna have to do that. There isn't a section later in the level, or there isn't a section in Proto Man's Castle that's like that either. Thank God. So here we can just sort of avoid these shields. No real reason for us to kill them anyways. Although we are going to want to get that E-Tank, because that's our first one. I don't know why I just stood there. Alright, so we're gonna want to go up top. This is Rush Coil from this game. Rush Coil in this game sucks. He is awful. The reason why we're going up here is we want this M-Tank. Basically, the M-Tank, what it does, it's supposed to be a mystery tank, but we will use it later, basically near the end of the game. because it fully restores all of our weapon energy and health. So we want to sort of get here. There we go. Got the V. So for the most part, it'll come in handy later in the game. You only get one, so you gotta make sure to save it. Unless you redo Crystal Man stage. In theory, you could grind as many of them as you wanted if you did Crystal Man stage over and over again if you were having trouble later. So over here, again, these guys suck. We're just gonna get hit by them. It's fine. Alright, so for here, we got the gyro attack. We should be okay. Crystal Man, again, he does it. We might lose about half our health. Gyro Man's ability is really cool. It basically, what it'll do, you can actually control it as you move. Fuck. All right. we'll do Crystal Man again. No problem. All right. So gyro attack, kind of cool. You can actually, if you press up or down as it's flying forward, it will go up or down. Which will actually, you'll see us use that more when we get to Protoman's Castle, because there are quite a few enemies that are purposely designed to be killed using Gyro Man's ability. There we go. Whew. Thank God. I was so afraid of dying there because I did not want to do that stage over again. Alright, so we're by far past Crystal Man stage. Probably one of the most annoying Mega Man stages since, like, Quick Man and Mega Man 2. Again, his stage itself can be really, really annoying, especially if you're a new player, for sure. But again, there's not, even if you're a seasoned vet, there's not a whole lot you can really do about those crystals falling from the ceiling. So now we're going to move on to Napalm Man. Napalm Man, I really like the design of him as well. I think he looks really cool. His ability isn't fantastic, but it is certainly useful. So here what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to be careful, and we're not going to rush through this stage because these tigers are a big pain in the ass if you let them jump on top of you. So we're going to want to sort of kill them as far away from them as we possibly can be. There we go. Napalm Man's music, though, really, really cool. I like the stage design of his level, too, though. I just love the underground setting. It looks really cool. These Mets in these cans are pretty cool, too. These things, it may seem like you're supposed to avoid them, but in fact, you're just supposed to shoot them. I thought at first what you're supposed to do is use the caverns to sort of get away from them, but if you just charge up a shot, they're really easy to beat. So here, this E-Tank looks hard to get, but in fact, there's a secret passage. You just jump through it. At first, when I was a kid, I was like, man, do I have to pull him out with the gyro attack or something else? But no, you just jump through the wall. It'll be fine. So we got an Apache Joe. Yes, that's what it's called. I checked the fan art just to be sure, but yes, because the Mega Man Legacy Collection, one of the things I actually really like about it, and I think this was in the Anniversary Collection on the GameCube as well, is there's detailed blueprints and enemy names for all the different enemies in every single game. So, for example, you can actually see what they're actually called. Thanks for nothing, Eddie. Although one of the things I don't like is that it tells you the weaknesses of all the enemies. I kind of wish it sort of left it up to you to figure out what they're all weak to. So again, here we gotta get that end. We need it. We need that beat. Now, we're running low on lives, so I'm actually going to grab that. These missiles, we're just going to want us to blow them up as they come to us. God, I hate those purple guys. So again, here you want to sort of bait these missiles out before you jump, because otherwise they will kill you. And here, of course, just let them come to you. And there we go. So we are at Napalm Man stage. Now, I got 2 lives left. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run in, let him kill me, and then we'll really restart him because we don't have enough energy basically to kill him with the Crystal Eye. So. Now, the Crystal Eye, very similarly to Gemini Man's weapon, you have to be careful where you aim it because it can bounce off the walls, and bouncing off the walls can sometimes work to your advantage, but for the most part, you don't want it to do that because you'll be in a situation like this where until the energy hits something, you can't actually keep shooting, so you have to try and get them off the screen if you can. Again, this was just due to the NES's limitations as a console. So, there we go. So, Napalm Man down. Not too difficult, but definitely we were going to get hit more than once. So, so there we go. So we have the Napalm Bombs finally. The Napalm Bombs, while they're pretty good against Stone Man, they're also very, very good against those purple guys that we keep seeming to have trouble with. And they're a bit pain in the ass. So there we go. So we got the Napalm Bomb. So we go to Stone Man. Stone Man's stage isn't too difficult. And his power is pretty much useless. You might see me use it once or twice. Very similarly to Gravity Man's ability as well. For the most part, we're not going to... Except, it's not even really useful against Charge Man, who is the person we'll go to next. Who's actually weak against it. Alright, so here, one thing you may not know if you were playing this game for the first time, right here is where the G is. So, for the most part, it's really the only one of the letters that is actually really well hidden, because for the most part, if you don't know where it is, you're probably not going to get it. The way you can sort of tell is the rocks are sort of a different color than all the other rocks. You probably wouldn't think of that as being weird in a Mega Man game, because for the most part, unlike something like the original Metroid, where destructible environments are sort of part of the way to get power-ups, it's kind of cool that they would incorporate something like that into this game. But none of the other Mega Man games really had that. I mean, you'll start to see branching paths when we get to Mega Man 6, but... So here these mines will explode if you touch them, so you want to just sort of bait them at you and shoot them as they come. These mouse enemies are actually too low to the ground to actually shoot with the Mega Buster. Sorry, with the pea shooter, so you have to actually use the charged up Mega Buster in order to hit them. In case you're wondering why I'm charging up against these little rat guys. God, look at how much... There's so much going on the screen right now that the NES just can't keep up with it. So again, same sort of deal with the bombs, just let them come to you. Pretty easy. God, I love the look of the mountains in the background. It looks so cool. Come on, no! Oh man, I thought I got him. We're almost to Stone Man. Just gotta clear some more of these turrets and we should be good to go. Again, that life, very similar to the... I'm trying to remember how to get through there, actually. Whatever, we don't really need it. We'll be good. And that's not what we wanted to do. Alright. There we go. So that E-Tank, you can actually use it, you can get to it by using the platforms. We're just going to use Rush Jet because it just makes it so much easier for us. You just gotta jump, and you just gotta jump. There's our boy Eddie. We'll see what he's got for us today. There we go, a life to make up for the one that we could have gotten, but that we didn't go. Nope, nope, nope. Alright, so there we go. We are at Stone Man. Again, our strategy sort of with him is we're going to sort of get on top of him with the napalm bombs and just take him out from there. So, not too difficult. The main reason why you sort of want to get on top of him is the napalm bombs explode on contact, but if they don't contact anything, they will just go forever and ever and ever and not actually hit anything. Stone Man I've always thought of sort of a callback to Guts Man anyways, but I kind of prefer Guts Man. He looks so much cooler. So there we go, so Stone Man down, and now we get the Power Stone, which is probably one of the, like I said, one of the worst power-ups in any of the Mega Man games, because it's not even useful. Not even, at least with like at least with the Gravity Hold, you can use it against Gyro Man. But here, I mean, you could use it against Charge Man, but it's not great. It's probably easier just to kill him without it. Alright, so Charge Man stage probably has my favorite music in any of the Robot Master stages, and it looks so goddamn cool. You're gonna see it in a second. When we get out of the train warehouse part, it just looks so cool. And as I mentioned, this game is really, really, really good about lives. If you need lives, it'll give you all the lives you'll ever need. Here, I just love the design of the Met trains, basically. And you just sort of want to let them fire, and then you can shoot them in the face, so. I just love the look of the moving train, and then eventually when we get inside the train, it looks really cool too, because the train actually bobs up and down to simulate a moving train. It's just so cool. See, like the train's just moving up and down. It looks really, really cool. This is just something they just in the late 80s on the NES anyways, with like Mega Man 2 or 3. God, look at this. I've gotten like 4 lives in this level. And you guys thought I would run out, or we'd have to continue. Alright, so I'm gonna kill that right here. And then we'll just use Rush Coil to get up. As I mentioned, Rush Coil in this game sucks. If I never have to use him, I never will. Just let him come down here. Again, there's nothing over there on those spikes, so it's sort of a red herring to make you think that there's something over there. Here we are, we're already at Charge Man. Again, this is one of the other reasons why people choose to start with Charge Man stage. His stage is actually pretty easy. He himself can be a bit of a pain since we can use the Power Stone, but for the most part we'll want to kill them with the Mega Buster. But he can be pretty difficult because he does a ton of damage when he walks up to you. His coal attack is actually pretty easy to avoid, but when he runs into you, it can be pretty painful. And very similarly to when Dustman charges, you can't really attack him when he's charging towards you. Now, what I'm going to do, and normally I'll do this in a pinch against Charge Man, is I'll use an E-Tank, because we get more than enough of them for the castle later on that I think we should actually be okay. Boom! Charge Man down. Like I mentioned, he's a bit of a pain if you use the Power Stone, so for the most part you just want to use the Mega Buster, even though I used an E-Tank there just to make sure we got through it. For the most part, he's pretty easy without it. So there we go. So Charge Man down, and we have one stage left before we go to the castle. Charge Kick itself is actually a really cool ability. Very much a play on Top Man's ability with the top spin, where you basically will use your body as the weapon this time, which just looks really cool. So in this case, you'll use the slide as opposed to spinning your whole body around. So here we got Wave Man stage. Just a lot of different stuff going on in this stage. You got to watch out for these things. You got to watch out for steam. There's a vehicle section later on, which is really the first time we've had a vehicle section in a Mega Man game. I mean, you'd always use, like, Rush, Jet to fly through areas, or Rush Marine, if you wanted to use Rush Marine. But for the most part, it's just, there's a lot of different things going on with the stage, and it's just pretty cool. You just sort of got to be patient with all these different areas. If I haven't convinced you guys yet that Mega Man is very much a game about finesse and being patient, then, I mean, I don't know what will at this point. So here with these bubbles, you want to just sort of jump on the big ones. The small ones you can jump on, but they will only, you can only stay on them for a very short period of time, but you'll use them just to jump back and forth here. Boom. Alright, so here we are. We are at the vehicle section. And again, this section can be a bit of a pain in the ass, because you can take a lot of damage here if you're sort of new. You can't actually charge up well on the bike, so for the most part you just want to sort of hang back, just jump over the people that come from behind, and try not to die. So here we're going to fight a mini-boss. Again, he would be so much easier if you could use a charge shot on him, but... the problem I have with the vehicle section, though, while the checkpoint is right at the start of the vehicle section, if you die on here, you have to do this whole part again, and it actually is really long. So you just sort of have to do your best to conserve your health and not get hit by stuff. But as I mentioned, it is a bit of a pain in the ass, since some of this stuff is a little bit hard to avoid. Fuck! Okay, so we're gonna die and do this again. Why? Because we really need that E. So... And again, we would have been right before Wave Man, so it's okay. We've got 9 more lives. I'm sure we'll be fine. I love, too, in this game that there are so many different varieties of the Joe enemies. We've got the Apache Joes, we've got the Crystal Joes, we got the Joes riding on the Skidoos. It's just so cool. By the way, I don't know why I called the Water Ski a Skidoo. It's really late. It's like 3 in the morning. There we go. Alright, we're not going to miss that A this time, guys. No! Okay. Motherfucker. But we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that ability, so. Alright, we can get killed by this cannon. We're gonna do this one more time, and not try and give up, because if we don't get that, if we don't get beat, it's gonna be very, very difficult when we get to Proto Man's Castle. Go. Alright. We're not gonna miss the letter this time, guys. I swear. I swear. Like, we tried to jump last time, but what happened was, basically both times actually, if you get hit while you, when we're there, you can't actually jump, so. There we go. Thank God. Alright. So, we're going to be fine. We're going to get to Wave Band stage, and it's going to be easy peasy. Alright. We won't have to do that again. I apologize for making you guys go through that. Alright, so here, we're just going to hope he drops health. If he doesn't, we can probably just go commit suicide against Wave Man. No big deal. And yes, he has a little grappling hook hand. It's fine. There we go. Alright. So let's do this one more time. Wayman himself is actually pretty easy with the charge kick. So that's what we're going to do here. So we use the charge kick. And what it does is it basically turns our slide into a weapon. Like that. And if you would get out of the goddamn corner, this would make this so much easier. There we go. Thank God. He just did not want to leave. He's just like, no, I'm sorry. You gotta come to me. So there we go. So that is our last Robot Master. Now we're moving on to Proto Man's Castle. Of course, we got the Water Wave. The Water Wave basically shoots a wave forward anyways. Basically, it's only really useful on like the Darkman enemies we're gonna fight here. The reason why we don't use it against Starman, if we start with like Charge Man or something, is because Starman's almost always in the air, and the Wave Beam only shoots on the ground. So, here is probably my second favorite stage theme in this game. I just really like the music in this castle. It's pretty cool. I almost like the look of Dr. Cossack's castle, though, more than Proto Man's castle. Like, Proto Man's castle itself looks way more menacing than, like, a Wily castle, but for the most part, it's just like, it's just not the same. See what I mean about those tigers? They're a bit of a pain if you let them pounce on you. So here, we're just going to want to sort of bait these guys out. Like so. We can actually use the Super Arrow. There we go. And what we want to do is we will get some Super Arrow. You'll actually probably see me use the Super Arrow, but a little bit more here in the castle, as opposed to outside of the castle, where we never really used it. Again, the stages are basically designed to sort of take advantage of it, so... so here we'll use Rush Jet. And then we'll use the Super Arrow. God, these missile things have my number. And of course, what Mega Man game would be complete without tedious block puzzles? Boom. I actually like that in later Mega Man games they sort of realized that the block puzzles are dumb, and they tried to sort of limit how many of them you actually have to do. This guy, he's kind of funny, because basically, if you just stand here and you don't move, he'll just spin around you. So you can just do that. It's actually really dumb. But of course, if you don't know that, you'll jump it right into him, so. Alright, so here we are at our first enemy. Now, basically what you do in Proto Man's castle is you fight a bunch of different variations of what's referred to as Dark Man. So basically, they'll just come in different forms as later bosses. But the waves do the trick. He's probably the easiest one out of all of them. I mean, he is the first one, so. You just stand there, and you just use the wave. Very easy. Again, as long as you keep away from him, for the most part, he's not going to do too much damage. So there we go. So the first stage in Proto Man's castle is down, and now we'll move on to the next one. By the way, I love the actual look of Proto Man's castle. I don't like the interior designs as much as, say, Cossack's castle, but I still like the outside of it. It looks really cool. Despite the fact that it just has a giant Proto Man head on it. Don't want to go that way. So here we'll use our trusty friend, the super arrow, to get up. Got some more trains. Kind of a weird place here where you're seeing trains, but you know. So very similarly to all of the other castles in Mega Man games, the weapon energy does not automatically replenish. It only does if you have to continue for whatever reason. So you just have to be very judicious about refilling it when you have a chance. This part can be a bit of a pain because you've got the spikes up top, and you have to try and jump high here, so you just need sort of just the right amount of jump. Of course, those flying platforms of those flying guys are not making it any easier for us. So again, we have the super arrow, easy peasy. Of course, we jumped right into that. We just didn't time that correctly, so. God, we have more lives than we know what to do with. I swear I've died like a million times, but you know, it doesn't matter because we just keep getting them. Oh, here we can just jump. Boom. So there, we're probably going to want that energy, so we will sacrifice Rush Coil in order to get it. Honestly, we don't need too much Rush Coil, but we do need a ton of Super Arrows, so it's good to have that on hand. So therefore, we're going to want to get the E-Tank. We're going to want to get that health if we can. I like how you're sliding by, and the charging actually stops if you are midway through charging anyways. It doesn't let you charge while you're sliding. Well, we don't need that life. We could use the Super Arrow to get it, or Rush Jet, but... And the water wave, it's good to sort of refill a bit, just in case we need it later, but honestly, we're not going to really use it again. Goddamn tiger. Oh man, those guys are a pain in the ass. There we go. Just lure him down. Just take that one out. So here, this enemy is weak to the Crystal Eye. You can actually beat him pretty easily as well with the Mega Buster, but we'll just use the Crystal Eye just so I can show you guys how it works. Basically, you can't... here, I believe the Crystal Eye actually just goes through the shield, which is the main reason why you use it here. There will actually be a shielded Darkman later as well, but where it doesn't really have the same trick. But Boom. Easy. Crystal Eye is probably, between that and Gyro, is probably the ability we'll use the most in this castle, so a lot of times that's usually why you save the Crystal Eye, but we don't have a ton of weapon power-ups that we're really low on the moment, so there's no reason not to go for it anyways. So here we're outside, not like Starman's area, we're not in space, it's just nighttime. But I love the look of the starry sky, it looks really cool. Thanks, Apache Jones. Let me just run past him. We should get that health, because we're down a bit. And luckily we can refill that Crystal Eye that we're going to need. Just use Rush Coil, because as I mentioned, we're not going to use Rush Coil that much, because he kind of sucks. So. We want to take those guys out first. Take this guy out. Now there again, we could use Rush Coil, sorry, to get up there if we needed to, but it's pretty easy to navigate if you don't. I'm just saying, thank God they didn't program in the missiles from Napalm Man stage here, because that would really make this place suck. So again, we can either use Rush Coil or Super Arrow. I mean, we'll have to probably refill Rush Coil at some point, so I may as well just use it now, because why not? Like, I'd rather do that than sort of split hairs trying to recover some more Rush Coil Super Arrow later. We're going to want to get that E-Tank, so... And then we'll do Rush Jet to get us back over there. Boom. Not how you draw it up, as they say, but you know, still work. So there, what we can do is we can use the Napalm Bomb on this guy. Again, it takes a couple hits, but it's better than me jumping down there and then trying to navigate that. Here, since it's a more wide open space, it is way easier for me to slide under here, if we have to. Fuck, he's chasing me down. Here we can just sort of be patient with these guys. We're not really in any rush to run through them, so... And see what I mean about E-Tanks? The castle itself, well, we only really had, like, one going into the castle. We now have a bunch, we now have 4. So, and then it'll be plentiful later as well, so... We don't have to worry too much about it. These are the guys from Gyro Man stage again. Again, here, if you really need to use Rush Jet, you can. Like if it looks like you're not going to be able to keep up with this, but again, it's pretty easy for the most part. All right, so here we go. So we are at Darkman number 3, and we will use the Gyro attack on this one. Shit. Alright, well, we're just going to jump into him and start fresh. His other weakness is beat as well, but we're actually going to save beat for later, so we don't want to use beat right now if we don't have to. Of course, the problem when he turns you to stone is you actually can't get out of it. Unlike when you get frozen in time, you can't get out of the stone attack unless you get hit by something. So. Fuck. Boom. Alright. Just had to be patient there. So there we go. So, third Dark Man down, and now we're going to move on to Proto Man. And again, this Proto Man is actually weak to beat, so we're actually going to want to use beat here. And I just really like the stage layout here. It's actually kind of cool. You sort of, what you got to do is knock these blocks down. Fuck. I wasn't thinking there. Alright, let's do this again. Again, it's not too difficult, I just wasn't... I just was distracted there for a second. It's okay, we've got 8 lives, so we're good. Or I lightly tap the button and we'll jump into the spikes. Alright, let's do this one more time. Just focus, relax. Sort of make a little wall there. And again, we can just hammer away at these ones, because it'll make it so that we can just slide through. Alright, so here we are. We are at Proto Man. Although there's something wrong with his whistle. Boom! He one-shots us. But you know what? It's not Proto Man. There's the real Proto Man. So in fact, he was actually a Dark Man. So what we're actually going to fight here is basically a combination of all the different Dark Men. We'll want to use Beat on him in combination with the Mega Buster. Again, he's probably, out of all of them, he's probably the only one that's really going to give us trouble. For the most part, we should be fine, though. We will use an E-Tank on him, just to be sure. Again, Beat's ability is he just sort of homes in on the enemies, and just makes life a little bit easier for us. And he's very useful when it comes to Dr. Wily, which we're about to go to. Yeah, I know. I kind of wanted to keep it a secret from you guys if you hadn't played it before. Although, come on, you fight Dr. Wily in every fucking Mega Man game. It's always Dr. Wily. So there we go. So we beat his Dark Man robot, and now we're gonna go to Dr. Wily's castle, and he'll do the eyebrow thing that I'm trying to do, but do very poorly. So he tried to frame Proto Man for his crimes, but now the real Proto Man has appeared and spoiled his plan. So in fact, it is Dr. Wily who has Dr. Light, not Proto Man. Ha ha ha. Of course, the trademark eyebrows there, and of course, Dr. Wily's castle, which looks more menacing in this game, I think. sort of spoken out that in like the Mega Man 3 and then 4 versions of Dr. Wily's castle, it looks less menacing than, say, this one. This castle design looks really cool. Although I don't know why Mega Man starts on top of an antenna, or on a satellite, but whatever. So again, there's an E-Tank to make up for the one we just lost, and oh shit, I shouldn't have gone that way. Forgot about that. Alright, let's do this again. Sorry I'm dying so much, you guys. As I mentioned, this is probably the game you'll probably see me die in the most. I think I've died more times now than when we played Mega Man 2, so... Motherfucker! I did not mean to do that. Alright, let's do this one more time. Gotta focus. There we go. So here we will want Crystal Eye first, because we're actually going to use it on this boss in this level. And then the next level we'll want to get the gyro for that. Beat will be our priority when we get closer to Wily. So you don't want to jump too high here. Of course, I'm not going to try and slide here because, as I mentioned, the controller is a bit of a pain with that, and I don't want to just miraculously jump into spikes. So just let these guys come to us. There we go. All right, so we can use the super arrow to get up here. There we go. We did it right that time. If I remember correctly, he respawns. I couldn't remember though, so. One way you could do this as well, which is actually probably what we'll do here, you can actually just use Rush Coil here if we've taken him out already. We don't have to deal with him. Or we'll die. This stage, and I believe the next one as well with the water, is a big pain in the ass. So. Now that big thing there, we could actually use it to farm for weapon energy if we were really desperate for something. Since it basically just spawns over and over again if we just move back and forth, essentially. Like maybe a couple pixels, so. So this part, very reminiscent of Dustman stage in Mega Man 4. Again, you just want to take this out. Of course, not as annoyingly difficult as... What? I wasn't anywhere near that. Okay, I guess we'll do that again. Yeah, so not as annoyingly difficult as Dustman stage. And yeah, you're usually not supposed to be able to die from that distance. I don't know why I did, but we'll figure that out in a second. Because we were off by a bunch of pickles. Because it's really the same as being under... There we go. Alright, so yeah, not as annoyingly difficult as, say, Dustman, but... Oh, I wasn't anywhere near it! Motherfucker. Alright. Okay, we're on our last life. We gotta focus here. And we're done. Alright, so we will actually have to continue. For the first time ever in these Let's Plays, I've hit the game over screen. But we're gonna keep playing. So, yeah, I haven't actually had to continue yet. Yeah, okay. This is a first. So we're just run through here. We won't have to worry about weapon energy now because we've refilled everything. Also, I think this is probably the first time I've had to continue in Mega Man 5, or even in a Mega Man game in a long time. But you know what? We've come too far to give up. I'm not giving up now. We're gonna beat this game. So again, you could slide through there if you had the NES controller, Xbox controller. No. No. And I'm not even concerned about weapon energy at this point, because I know we're good to go. I'll use the rush coil here, because I know we can use it. And same sort of deal here. Just to make this less of a pain in the ass, I'll just kill this guy and use rush coil. Oh god. Alright, let's do this again. Again, in this area, what you want to do is try and get on top. Of course, it is a bit of a pain in the ass to jump up there, but... Nope, nope, nope. Oh, fuck. Man, I am playing so badly right now. Unfortunately, you can't use the Mega Man 3 trick where rush coil is essentially free if you just keep jumping. But all right, so we're finally back to this section here, and I guess we gotta like keep our distance because I guess we're getting hit even though I don't think we're anywhere near where we really need to be in order to get even hit by those. Like, it just seems like they have unnaturally large hitboxes for some reason or another. And unlike Mega Man 4, you can't just use the charged Mega Buster to go and hit all these at the same time. Whew, that was close. Alright, so we're back on track. Again, sorry about that, you guys. Alright, so we are at the first boss in Wily's Castle. We'll use the Crystal Eye on this guy, as I mentioned previously. Here you could actually, to get these platforms to come out, you don't really have to use the Crystal Eye. You can actually just use the pea shooter, but we'll use the Crystal Eye since we really won't use it too often until we fight Napalm Man again. Alright, so one more should do it. Boom! That was a lot closer than I thought it would be, but that's okay. There we go. So the first boss is down. And again, this stage is also equally as annoying as the last one. It's got a big underwater section, and the underwater section is a big pain in the ass. So. Alright, so this is the part I'm referring to. First of all, the underwater stage here looks really cool. But it is a big pain in the ass because it has these little platforms just like before in that last level, except now it's underwater, and there's just even less room, I think, in here to contend with. Come on, get back down. Of course, what underwater level wouldn't be complete without spikes? Oh, God damn it, these platforms suck. Alright. So again, I've never had to continue this much with playing this game. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna finish this Let's Play, because I still really want to finish this game for you guys. But I'm thinking in the future I want to do another one of these with a cleaner playthrough for sure. Because yeah, this is sort of unacceptable on my end, but at the same time, we're this far and I don't want to finish. Like, I don't want to stop anyways. So. I like how that one just stays still. It's so much less of a pain to navigate than these ones. Alright. Oh, Jesus, I can't jump off of that platform. I don't know what it is. I just am not able to properly jump. Alright. I have an idea though as to how we can do this. Of course, this is the one game where you don't have Rush Marine, which, by the way, would make this so much easier. Oh my god, a free life! And we finally made it! There's a little bit more platforming here, but for the most part, we should be past the really difficult part. Now, as long as I don't die and we have to go back there, and as long as we get to the checkpoint, we should be fine. There we go. Now we can just jump straight down. Grab that. God, we're restocking up on the lives already. As I mentioned, if there's anything Mega Man 5 is good for, it's for giving you a ton of lives. We're already back up to 3, despite dying numerous times. Now here, what I usually actually do, rather than using the napalm bombs, is I actually just use the Power Stone here, so just stand at the top of the ladder, wait for him to come to you, and then just use Power Stone. Because we're not going to use it against Charge Man anyways, so there's no real reason for us really to keep holding on to it. And again, same here. We're just gonna equip the Power Stone. This is probably the only time you'll ever see me use this power up. Easy as canned pie. Alright. So I believe we are going to need the gyro attack for this guy. Now, we have 7 E-Tanks. I'm not too worried about our health, but if we need it to replenish it, I'm all for that. Like so. So again, what we want to do is we can fire the gyro attack into those grooves there. You could also use the Mega Buster as well, and not use the gyro attack, but honestly, we may as well just use it since we have it. And even if we don't get a refill, we'll have enough for when we have to fight Crystal Man again. So, should be okay. And yes, that's going to be coming up soon. We're going to be fighting the 8 Robot Masters again. So now the really, really, really difficult areas are all done. For the most part, it's just straight on to the 8 Robot Masters again and Wily himself. And we'll grab that E-Tank since we just used one. Even though we are basically full on E-Tanks, or close to it anyways. So, as tradition, we are going to fight all 8 Robot Masters again. I believe this is Gravity Man, so we'll use the Star Crash. And for the first time, it really actually takes you back to the Robot Master's lair, as opposed to fighting him in sort of just a generic Dr. Wily area. So there we go. So now we will fight Wave Man. We use the Charge Kick on him, provided he wants to get out of the corner. Again, you sort of just gotta lay the body with him. It's very similar to when you fight Fireman in Mega Man 1, or even using the top spin at all on anyone. Alright, we got Stone Man next. Let's pull out the Napalm Bombs. Boom. Wasn't too worried about health there, but was thinking about using an E-Tank. Alright, so who we got next? We got Starman. I'll show you how Wayman's ability works on him, because we're not going to really need it again. It's not great. It does fire through his shield, though, so if you are able to just have him do that, then it's easy peasy. Boom. If he doesn't jump that much, the water wave is good, but I mean, no real reason to use it unless you have to. So here we go. So we got Crystal Man again. So we'll use the gyro attack. And as I mentioned, we don't really need a ton of it on him. So there we go. Crystal Man down. Too bad, because we had to leave that dope-ass stage. Charge Man. Again, Charge Man, I will use the Mega Buster on, and he will probably be the only one I use an E-Tank on if for some reason I feel we need to. Not because he's difficult, but because he's a little bit slower to kill than the other Robot Masters. Okay, I did not anticipate using 2 E-Tanks, but it should still be fine, because honestly, all we've got after this is Wily, and Wily's not too difficult, so. Although we didn't even really need to use one there. So Napalm Man, we'll use the Crystal Eye on him. Again, this power is a pain in the ass, because if it bounces off walls, then you're going to be hurt. Alright, Napalm down, and then we should have Gyro Man left. Gyro Man, of course, weak to the gravity hold. And again, he may not even hit us. Boom. Gyro Man down. Alright, so here we are. So we have first edition of Wily. Now his weakness is actually the Star Crash. We've actually used a ton of it because we fought Gravity Man. But there's actually no real reason to use anything but the Mega Buster on him. You sort of wait for him to stop, and then you slide. You know, not like what I just did. Or I jumped into the spikes. Yeah, because with the Star Crash, what you would do is just wait for him to be on top of you, and then you just use it on him. It's not a big deal. Alright, so probably 1 or 2 more hits should do it. And 1 more. The toughest is when he's sort of locked in the middle there. There we go. So Wily is down, but he's not dead yet. No, sir. We have 1 more stage with Dr. Wily, and then we should be good to go. No, we'll just slide past him. Who cares? Basically, these enemies are sort of in here to grind your abilities if you need them. Although the abilities that Dr. Wily himself is actually weak to are not actually really conventional abilities that you would think, because he's actually weak to the Super Arrow and Beat. So that's what we need here. So again, very similar to Magnet Man, he will suck you in. And we'll use the E-Tank just in case. We're not going to need 4 more of them, plus a Mystery Tank, but... And there we go, so... We're going to call down Beat. And then, so here we go. So here's the last one. Beat will just fly into him, into Wily. Basically, you can also, if you press up on Beat, like up on the controller, Beat will actually go on command. And of course, we'll use another E-Tank here. Also, what Beat will do as well is if he attacks Dr. Wily at the last second, he won't actually hit him. He'll just spin around, but he'll home in on him, so you can actually tell where Wily will actually appear next. Also, when you're using Beat, you can't actually charge, so in case you're wondering why I'm not charging my shots against him. You can also beat Wily with the Mega Buster as well, but it's just so much easier to use Beat. Of course, we don't want to die here, so the M tank is really there in an emergency. There we go. So that's where I'm talking about. So now, Beat will show us where Wily will appear next, and then automatically hit him. And then same here, and this should do it. Boom! So Dr. Wily is down. Of course, that's going to do it for Mega Man 5. We've finished the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this the ending play out. I'm going to sort of disappear and let you guys sort of enjoy the ending here. Again, what do you think about this Let's Play? I'm sorry that it was way sloppier than I would have wanted. I promise to do another one later, a more cleaner run through. But anyways, I hope you tune in next week for Mega Man 6 as well. We have new Let's Plays here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern. Also, if you're interested in video game podcasts, check out my podcast that I co-host called the Game Moose Podcast. All the deets are in the link below. We just did a Game of the Year special, so pretty interesting. Anyways, that's going to do it for this Mega Wednesday. I'm Ryan Turford. Thanks again for watching here on youtube.com/Ryan Turford. I'll be back next week with Mega Man 6.